might know Maine for its lighthouses and lobsters, but did you know it's also one of the country's most active states for UFO reports? Not because of dramatic abductions, but because people here call in when they see something strange in the sky.
A recently released report shows Maine's high ranking isn't about an alien arms race. It's a numbers game. The state records roughly 21.57 UFO reports per 100,000 residents. That per capita rate nudges it into the national top tier of reporting, alongside neighbors and surprising contenders. That figure reflects frequent reporting rather than extreme claims.
Compared with states like Idaho or Vermont, Maine files fewer reports that include abduction claims. Instead, Mainers tend to report sights, odd lights, and the occasional stretch of missing time. Curious, conscientious, and often very local. The study shows New Hampshire with the highest level of incidents per capita, New Mexico ranked last.
One factor could be that Maine communities have active reporting cultures. WABI frequently receives news tips from watchful residents, not always of an out-of-this-world nature. So Maine's placement near the top is as much about who's looking up and calling authorities or hotlines as it is about what's actually up there.